All right. So I've got my new vines soaking in a bucket of water over here, and I've been prepping the medium that I'm going to plant them in. Last year, I did a one third mix of cocoa coir, cotton compost, and uh, like river pebbles, kind of, um, which worked seemingly pretty well. That's what I used for most of these. Some of these also have a couple other things in them. This year, I'm going to try out using more perlite and vermiculite as opposed to the kind of like stony pebbles, because found out that the stony pebbles are very, very heavy. So some of my grapevines that I planted last year are just crazy heavy, like 200 pounds. I can only move them with this dolly here. It's very hard to get them around, but they're growing well. Um, so yeah, in my wheelbarrow here, I've mixed up some peat moss instead of cocoa coir. The cocoa coir works pretty well in general, but I don't really like how fibrous it is, and it's hard to break it apart. It tends to clump a lot. So I'm using peat moss instead. And then I've also mixed in my cotton compost and then some perlite and vermiculite. I also threw in some other kind of seed starter additives like worm castings and this mycorrhizae and humic acid growth medium. So yeah, these have been soaking, and I got my pots here that I'm going to grow them in. You can see that I got pretty tall pots. Don't know if that one is showing up well, so I'll show you there what they look like. This is the same one. I got these two for like $50 from Verideck, so that's nice because planter pots are so expensive. It's crazy. But yeah, I think I'm going to do Tanat first. Let's see. I think over here I've got some fertilizer stuff. Ultimately, I want to grow organic long term, but just starting out with these plants here, I think I'm just going to use some fertilizer for the plants. Last year, I got these packets. Look kind of like that I was told you just put them in the bottom when you plant. I got one of these left. And then I got some fertilizer spikes that I'm going to use for the rest of them. For some reason, the company I got these from isn't selling these anymore, but I think it's just a basic fertilizer. And yeah, I'm doing that in large part because this medium is an artificial medium anyway. Like I said, I would like to be organic when I have my vineyard eventually, but yeah, for now, yeah, I'm just going to toss that in here, and then I'm going to do Tanat first, I think. So let's see. That would be this one, I think. Got a little bit of newspaper still, so I'm just going to rinse that off. best I can. Might have to pick off these last few pieces. Probably wouldn't hurt it to plan it like this, but and I'm completely new to this, so yeah, if I'm doing stuff completely wrong, wouldn't be surprising. So if you are an expert and you're watching this, like to hear what you got to say. I'm not just looking to learn here. All right. Now, one thing I did learn last year that's very important with these is that you actually have to bury the graft. So my understanding is that, you know, this is the rootstock here, and then up here is the graft. And you really want to cover up most of the graft when you plant this. So yeah, that's pretty good there. Don't know if the video can show, but I'm just trying to gauge the height, how deep to put the vine, but I'm going to start filling in here. Yeah, that's... See, I was told you want to pretty much cover up the whole graft. This is kind of hard to do just on your own. So it would help if I had someone to hold this so I could use my shovel to just dump stuff in. So this might take a little while. Just trying to figure out, you know, the best positioning here. Still won't quite stay up on its own. It's getting there though. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of loosely put this in for now and then pack it in a second here. Might need to do a little bit more of a mix because I'm going to run out of material here in a second. But yeah, I'm just kind of iteratively packing it. Oh geez, I shouldn't be pulling on it like that. Kind of forgot that I need to pack it. So I actually probably wanted this a little bit higher. For the next one, I'll probably do it a little bit higher, but this one is this one's in there. Not messing with it now. All right, you can see one wheelbarrow basically filled up one of these. Might even need a little bit more still, but we're pretty good. We're pretty close to the top there. Just want to pack it so that there's no air pockets in there. Oops. All right, so I'm just kind of throwing a Hail Mary here, but I'm gonna dig down and water just moderately down kind of where the roots are. You know, with new soil in these pots, Whenever I've dug into it after watering, it really seems like the water just doesn't penetrate well, or doesn't distribute evenly. So that's kind of my hypothesis going forward here, is that soil by the roots just really is perpetually dry after transplant. So I'm gonna give that a shot, and yeah, hope for the best. All right. Now I apologize for the lighting and the camera position and everything right now. I'm doing this in my garage because it's still going to be too cold to put these out, and we're also getting like really bad weather, tornadoes and stuff. So I don't want to put them out immediately, nor do I want to take out these guys yet. I'm just about ready to put these outside. It's probably warm enough, but maybe after this weekend. So really, I'm just going to now top off this guy, and then start with my next pot, next planting. All right, so just top off this guy here. I'll video these up close later, but you'll be able to see that going all the way up to basically the top where the graft is. Again, that's how I was told to do it by the people I bought these vines from. Now I'm going to water this one. There we go. My nozzle fell off and I put it back on, so now I don't know what, or I put it back on such that the labels don't line up, which is annoying. Need to fix that. All right. So next pot. Now, this time, whoops, I'm going to use the these fertilizer stakes, which are for fruit trees, but I assume pretty much have the same thing in them as my other little fertilizer there. So I'm just going to take one of these, put it in there. Next guy I'm going to plant is oh, hello. Tempranillo. Yeah, if you just hold up. Okay. Okay.
So then that we'll have the lettuce wrap for dinner just to use it up.
Okay.
And then the pot roast you can, so then because it's going to be a busy those 3 days because I work in a row, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah.
So then you don't have to think about what to have for dinner.
Yeah. Well, that sounds good. All right. Can you just hold it like that? Let me just make sure this is. Okay. It's like right there.
Did you put the pod in there?
The what?
Didn't you have that pod thingy?
Yeah, the fertilizer pot thing. Yeah, I put one of the. I put something like that in there. Well, yeah, you remember. All right. Yeah, this is kind of a mess. I can help you power wash. Well, I know you like to power wash the garage. What's that?
I'll just wait till it dries and
All right, that's probably good. Mm.
Okay, Cody texted me. He said, "I bought this for Bailey. It's like this thing that kind of keeps them on their side. It's like almost looks like my pregnancy pillow thing, where it kind of has like a little wedge
Mm-hmm.
in there. I don't care. I'm not gonna tell him anything's unsafe because Elena loves to sleep on her tummy and on her side. He's like, we're trying to get her to sleep in the crib, and I'm like, oh, Cody. Their sleep cycles are so short when they're newborn.
Yeah, yeah.
Now maybe I'll text him and tell him, is your bassinet up to the bed?
Yeah.
Or move the crib all the way up to the bed so that you can put a hand there or something.
Yeah.
And then swaddle as tight as possible. But then again, I was never successful, so I cannot give any advice.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope I didn't hurt that by digging that up, but I realized I buried the tag. Just gotta remember this one is Tanat. On accident, yeah.
That's fine. Get a Sharpie and probably have something to use.
Yeah.
Did you get the tag on that other one?
Yeah, it's. Like,
The weather's like started looking a little weird.
yeah.
When's it gonna go? I should probably take Barbie out before
I mean, I don't think it's really supposed to get bad until like 9 or something.
maybe I'll prep stuff for the poppers then. Put it in a baggie. Is there another one you want me to help you with?
Yeah, but not for a little bit because I gotta mix up more dirt.
Get an Apple Watch?
What's that?
She must have got an Apple Watch.
Oh wow.
She said, do you want to share your activity? And I'm like, fuck no. Christina like gets really angry about that.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like a competition thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much how I do it. I'll be doing update videos. What's that? No, I was talking my video. All right. Well, that's basically how I do it. I'll be doing update videos and such periodically. But yeah, thanks for watching. All right. Last thing I'm going to do is just stake it up. And there we have it. Tana planted in a pot. Could have centered it a little better, but it's good enough. Now, one thing that is pretty important for these actually that you should have are the covers that I'll show a little bit later. Now, these have enough growth that they actually might be okay by now. But I do have these covers that I used last year. Let's see how heavy this is. You know, that's actually a lot better than the other ones. This one I can actually like lift. The other ones are way too heavy. So, yeah. Move this one to the side and start mixing some more. It's a lot better, really. I don't know. We'll see how that does. So, my last mixing video didn't have sound. So, I'll explain again my mix. I'm using peat moss. I know it's not a sustainable thing. I only have a couple bags. Really just one bag right now. I would use cocoa core, but like I said, I've used it in the past, and it's so fibrous-y, and it clumps. Really hard to break apart the clumps. Would spend hours breaking apart the clumps. Honestly, last year it was crazy how much between that and my seed starter mix, which I also use cocoa core for. So just gonna toss in a good amount of that. Might need to get another bag of this, honestly, some point. Cotton compost. Peat moss I got at Fleet Farm. Cotton compost I got at Earl May Garden Center. Seems like pretty good stuff. And I got my perlite, which I also got at Earl May. Giant bag here. This is ridiculous. Don't need all this. But I guess I'll have 20 years of seed starter. Might do a little bit more perlite than last time. Gonna do some worm castings, some nutrients. A little bit of this mycorrhizal stuff. This is really just a seed starter mix, but it's got the supposedly got the fungi that are good for roots. The last thing is this vermiculite that I also got a giant bag of. The perlite and vermiculite are, just for filler, light, airy filler kind of. Okay, it's making a mess on my garage floor, which my wife isn't gonna appreciate, but I'll just have to power wash it later. And now I just mix this up in my wheelbarrow here. This isn't particularly exciting, so I'm just gonna pause the video. All right, so I filled my bucket of water. You can see here, got my bare vine that I'm now gonna soak because I'm gonna plant this one. This one is Tana. So just gonna put that in the water here. And gonna go figure out which of these here I'm also gonna plant. I want to do the ones that have the most growth. They're gonna need to be planted soon. Like I said last year, the ones that did the best were the ones that I planted earlier. So seems they don't like to wait too long. Really, I think a big part of it is being able to just get that root system established well to get enough growth to make it through the winter. This is kind of tricky getting these untangled. I really kind of packed these together. I don't know if the video can show, but I'm just trying to free up. Oh, shit. Well, that ain't good. Man. What is this one? Oh, Petite Syrah. Man, they're so delicate. Of course, I say that as I'm like, I should have done this inside. Yep, that just completely fell off. Well, all right. Gonna soak this one. This one's got some good roots. It's Malbec. I should probably plant this one because there's 3 that I don't need to plant yet. That'll be the Malbec. Petit Verdot. And the one that has the least growth is the Shiraz. All right. These 3 I will leave in the newspaper for now. Just because it's a lot of work planning these. If I could get them all done today, maybe I'll try, but don't think I'm going to have time. Oh, man. This is hard getting this off. You know what? I'm just going to put this in the water now. Oh, shit. I don't even know what this is. This is weird. All right, well, the hypothesis that it was too much water appears to have been wrong. So maybe it was too little water. You know, it's a tricky issue trying to get the roots watered but also oxygenated. Again, the transplant shock is very apparent, and probably a little worse today, but we're gonna try a couple other things. Maybe water them at this point, and hope they survive and come back, like the other vines that I planted earlier. All right, so here's an update on these guys. Been watering them regularly as they dry out, and it seems like I've at least slowed or maybe even stopped the transplant shock. Wasn't soon enough to save the Shiraz leaves on these stems, but I honestly think the Malbec looks pretty good now. So the problem, after all, seemed to be not enough water at the roots. I'm putting in dry dirt into these, and even though when I planted this Shiraz, I put water down, or I watered it as I was planting it. After that, the water drained, and it probably just was not able to get enough water again. I noticed when I dug it out that the top layer of soil was very dry, or the top layer was very wet, and then the rest was very dry. So, the final test will be for the last vine. I'm going to plant that, and just plant it shallow first, and then bury it. All right, so I filled my bucket of water. You can see here, got my bare vine that I'm now going to soak because I'm going to plant this one. This one is Tana. So just going to put that in the water here. And going to go figure out which of these here I'm also going to plant. I want to do the ones that have the most growth. They're going to need to be planted soon. Like I said, last year, the ones that did the best were the ones that I planted earlier. So seems they don't like to wait too long. Really, I think a big part of it is being able to just get that root system established well to get enough growth to make it through the winter. This is kind of tricky getting these untangled. I really kind of packed these together. I don't know if the video can show, but I'm just trying to free up. Oh, shit. Well, that ain't good. Man. What is this one? Oh, Petite Syrah. Man, They're so delicate. Of course, I say that as I'm like, I should have done this inside. Yep, that just completely fell off. Well, all right. Gonna soak this one. This one's got some good roots. It's Malbec. I should probably plant this one because there's 3 that I don't need to plant yet. That'll be the Malbec. Petit Verdot. And the one that has the least growth is the Shiraz. All right. These 3 I will leave in the newspaper for now. Just because it's a lot of work planning these. If I could get them all done today, maybe I'll try, but don't think I'm going to have time. Oh, man. This is hard getting this off. You know what? I'm just going to put this in the water now. Oh, shit. don't even know what this is. This is weird. All right. So I'm going to continue mixing here. Um, honestly, with this one, I'm just going to do a whole smorgasbord of stuff. Going to add some of this seed starter that supposedly has good plant fungi or whatever. This time, one thing I didn't add before that I want to add this time is gypsum, which is commonly added to, or a common soil additive for grapes. Got some kind of big chunks in here, and I don't really want that, so I'm just going to take those out. Just do a little bit of mixing here. This is soil that is from one of my vines that didn't make it last year. I'm going to reuse a little bit of that, but I'm not reusing all of it because I was very heavy on the rocks. And it made the pots incredibly heavy, heavier than they probably need to be. Just making sure it's all kind of evenly mixed here. I'm taking any kind of pieces of wood from the compost out. piece of gypsum. Let's see, what else do I have here? I've got some regular garden soil. I'll just add a little bit of that. It's honestly pretty similar to the compost, it seems like. I don't know. Just from the looks of it. I got my vermiculite here. And do some worm castings. And my perlite is over here. So I'm just going to get that evenly distributed here. All right, now I'm going to call that good enough and start filling this. This is one of the pots I used last year from one of the vines that didn't make it. And I'm just going to start shoveling that in. Just mix it one more time. Oh shit. All right. Gonna just quick do some measurements. Actually, this guy looks like he'll fit pretty nicely. Right there, yep, that'll be good. All right. Yeah, these guys are seemingly on the struggle bus. I've left them probably way too long. Certainly longer than the place I bought them from would recommend, but just couldn't get around to it. Now this time, you know what I'm going to do first? I'm going to rinse the soil here. Then I'm going to add my trusty little fruit tree steak, which supposedly has nutrients. Need to do a better job, I think, of just adding nutrients. Not really going to be able to be organic here with fruit or grapevines in pots, so all right. So just going to stand that guy up in there like that and start packing some soil on him. And I'm going to try to do a better job this time, like I said, of making sure the roots have adequate water. So I've just kind of covered the roots here. And at this stage, I'm going to pack around them a little better. And then really soak them here. And yeah, it's perfectly possible that none of this will really do anything and the vine will still get transplant shock. But just trying to maximize the odds of success here. Oops. Overall, I am a little bit worried about these vines because I let them go without planting for far too long. But we'll see. I just got some more extra soil here left over from various pots that it's pretty loose stuff that I'm just going to use to kind of fill in a little around the top here. I'm just kind of using everything with this one. Yeah, I do wonder, if the transplant shock with the other guys was just not adequately um, saturating the soil, because they got really droopy very quickly, which I mean, I showed the video. I feel like the main culprit behind that would probably just have to be the roots aren't getting water, and can't think of any reason the roots wouldn't be getting water other than the soil just didn't get saturated enough. Let's see how light this guy is. Oh, this guy's not bad. So add some more of this, mound up all the way over the graft here, and then call it a night. Will be very telling if this guy just completely bombs or if he doesn't. Because I'm kind of expecting it to bomb at this point, given how late I've planted it, how droopy it's looking, and how the other ones did. But you never know. Just trying to go all the way up around that graft, like the vineyard people told me to. Gosh, what one was this again? I'm sure I can figure it out from deduction, right? Did I even check it? Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's going to be way down there. Whoops. Didn't even show the kind of vine it was. Probably should have done that. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave a very, very slow drip. So going to turn this all the way down. And this guy's kind of all the way turned down. Um, Actually, I have a different nozzle I'm going to use. So I'm going to go get that. But then, yeah, I'm just going to set it in there, let it drip overnight, and hope and pray that when I wake up in the morning, it, I guess, isn't less perky, because it's not looking very perky right now. But we'll see. Thanks for watching. Just a quick note, you might wonder why I bury the graft. That's what the uh, people I got the vines from told me to do. I think it's probably to protect the plant, especially if you plant during the spring, during the cold nights, kind of in April and May. But yeah, I kind of wonder about that now, whether or not that is necessary. I planted some vines a while back. Well, last year, my first round of vines, I didn't bury them, and they all died. Um, so I've been doing that since then and had pretty good success, apart from the transplant shock on some of them. So, I think I'll ultimately, mound up over these. I mean, I know that, eventually you're supposed to do that. I looked it up. But yeah, the problem is, when you do that right when you plant it, vine doesn't get any water. Now, as a little side experiment here, I've got really three stems that kind of broke off some of the other plants. One of them is Grenache. One of them is actually one of my outdoor Concords. And another is a smaller branch
from one of the first three that I planted. Might have been the Petite Syrah, but yeah, I'm gonna. I've been soaking them in some water with some rooting powder um, and some nutrients, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get those to root and grow into vines. I know that the Grenache and the Petite Syrah won't have the grafted rootstock, so it'll be interesting to see, with the native rootstock how that differs. All right, so what I've decided to do here actually is to shoot water in there, like with the jet, um, setting on the nozzle, to really try to break stuff up there. All right, now I'm going to go about mixing again like I did before. Got cotton compost. Peat moss here. Like I said in my other video, I want to be as environmentally friendly as I can. I know peat moss isn't really renewable, but the cocoa coir that I've used in the past, I just don't like it that much. It's too fibrous-y. But maybe I just need to try different cocoa coir. All right, so I've replanted this one and used drier soil, kind of let the soil be a little bit more loose. This time I'm not going to water it. Just going to hope that there's enough moisture in there and that now the roots will be able to get oxygen. So here I've got my Cabernet. This one was the smallest of the ones that made it through the winter, but it's gotten some pretty good growth. You'll see that I have not pruned these at all. I'm just kind of letting them grow this year. Don't really expect grapes from most of them. This one is Grenache. This one is Sangiovese, or no, this is Nebbiolo actually. This is Sangiovese, and this is Primitivo.
Oh, and that's Cabernet Franc there. You'll see I've got these grow lights. This is a Vipar Spectra, I think KS3000 or something. And this is a HLG 650R. So I grew these last year, planted most of them in June, I think. I had an initial round that I tried to plant, and I left them outside in early May, and I think it got too cold because my first round all died suddenly. And I got some replacements that these are the replacements that did well. The Nebbiolo obviously had the most growth. That one's the biggest now, but you can see that the others are getting pretty big too now. Also got an olive tree back there, Arbequina. You can see there's a couple here that, yeah, didn't make it. And then these are the new ones. Now, what I'm going to do right now, since I'm about to plant, is I'm going to soak these just in a bucket of water. You can see they came packaged in this bag, this plastic bag with wet newspaper in it. And I've just kept them in there. I actually ordered these about a month ago. They came pretty quickly and had no growth when they arrived, but you can see now they've got quite a bit of growth. All of them have started growing actually. So this is the Petite Syrah. It transplanted the best, to be honest. Really did not have much transplant shock. Now it did kind of go dormant, but it's since started to grow again, I think. Kind of a similar thing happened with this guy here. This is the Mourvedre. It probably transplanted the second best. And it's kind of been dormant, but looks like it's still alive and starting to grow back a little bit. Now this one here is Tempranillo. That one suffered pretty badly from transplant shock, but you can see here, I cut down the the parts that kind of died off from the transplant shock, and it has since started to grow new buds here, or grow from new buds. So that's good. Early enough in the season that should be able to get some decent growth now. And then lastly, similar thing is happening over here with the Tannat.
It's got buds that are just now starting to do something. The transplant shock really hit those hard. Not entirely sure why those ones suffered so badly from transplant shock. um, I'm gonna try planting these guys here, which I let grow out a lot more, and I just have in water right now. But yeah, I think I'm going to try to perhaps put a drip line on the planted vine overnight so that I can keep the roots kind of saturated in water overnight, during the first stage of the transplant, see if that helps at all. All right, so unfortunately, we do have transplant shock. Um, I'm not sure if the problem was actually not enough water at the roots, or whether it's really a problem of too much water, too much dense soil suffocating the roots. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mystery to me. I mean, these weren't doing great um, already, so I'm not surprised it's struggling. But as an experiment, I'm gonna actually try to dig this one out, um, dry out the soil a little, and then yeah, see if I can plant it with dry soil and whether that helps it at all. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how I grow grapevines in pots. Now, you might ask, why would I want to do this? Well, I'd like to have a vineyard one day, so I thought just for fun, I'd like to see if I could grow my own grapevines just individually right now, just learn a little bit more about how grapevines grow. And unfortunately, I live in a climate where most of the good wine grape vines would not survive the winter. So I looked up, can you grow wine grapes or grapevines in pots? And it turns out that you can. It's not ideal, but they will survive. And you'll see there's a couple here that are growing that I'll take you through. There's one out there, and I got some new ones that I'm going to plant. I'm going to show you how I do that in a second here. Just as a example of one of the vines that died before, or that got um, transplant shock before, is coming back. So there's hope. We'll see. You can see here I've mounted up to the graft, and yeah, just gonna see that does the trick. All right, so I've dug this thing out mostly, and I'm gonna try mixing in a little bit drier dirt, a little bit more loosely, see if it likes that. Yeah, just really not sure why it's wilting so badly. You know, again, it wasn't doing great in the water already, but I'm going to try whatever I can to keep this thing from losing all its stems here. So I'm just going to add some drier soil around it. All right, that wasn't the jet, that was seemingly the regular stream. So I'm going to use the jet here and hopefully penetrate that area where the roots are, get some water to them. I think this guy, you know, these stems are probably goners. I mean, definitely these here, I'm not gonna be able to get water to those. But the stem closer to the, you know, the graft and the base of the plant might survive. And this one, you know, if my idea is correct, you know, will hopefully perk up a little bit tonight. So we'll see. Gonna wait. Got one more grapevine and then a couple stems that I'm just watering. Trying to see if they'll sprout roots at all. But I got one more vine that, you know, depending on what happens here, I'll you know, decide how I want to plant that one.
Okay, so making this video for Dad. All right. Let me start over. All right, so today I'm going to show you how I've been planting grapes in pots. I want to have a vineyard one day, but I live in a climate where you can't really grow wine grapes well, or at least the good wine grapes. So I looked up online, can you grow grapes in pots? And it turns out people say that you can, even though it's obviously not ideal. But yeah, I planted a couple of these last year, and in February they started budding in my garage. It was very cold out at the time, so I basically kept them in the garage. Since then, it's now late April, and take them out when it's warm and sunny and put them back in. I've got a couple grow lights here, Vipar Spectra. What? I'm doing a video to show my dad. What? Can I hold her? Oh. Helena says hi. Right there. Let's see. I think so. I don't know. The lighting's not great, but yeah, I know. It is. There's the Nebbiolo, yeah, and the Grenache and Cabernet. Behind here, you can't really see it probably in the video, but that's the Sangiovese. This is the wait, no. This is Primitivo out here. I brought him his water. Hello. All right. Let's see if we can see my head in this video. All right. Hopefully there's no wind. Hopefully it can see my head here. I don't know though. All right, this is unscripted. So today I'm going to be showing you how I plant grapes in pots. Got here a couple of grape plants that I planted last year. This is Cabernet, this is Grenache, and this is Nebbiolo. Why am I planting them in pots? Well, I live in a climate where they wouldn't live in the winter, but I wanted to learn more about planting grapes, and so I thought I'd give it a try. I want to have a vineyard one day, so it's really just a fun little exercise for me to kind of learn how these things grow and stuff. But yeah, basically, I've got 5 already, or right now I'm gonna have to cut that. All right, this is take 2. Just checking if this is loud enough. It can see everything. How's this going? Okay. One more test of this.